What's up, dudes? I'm gonna one-shot this voiceover and basically just go over my week's worth of training program. This is daily undulating periodization. The previous program was split to 4 days, and now the program is spread out through 5 days. I have a single day which really concentrates on accessory work, and also we will be introducing the low bar squat into my training this training cycle. I'm still very uncomfortable and unfamiliar with it, so there's a lot of fine-tuning that I need to do. One is I'm not too privy on squatting in the Olympic shoes or the Addy Powers. I may go back to my Addy trainers, which are about 0.25 inches shorter in the heel, and that's basically just to help my center of gravity on the descent. What tends to happen, and I mentioned this to somebody else who also agrees, is when squatting high bar and you're in heeled shoes, you're coming down and you're aiming for your heels. It's weird to explain, but once you get into the hole, your hamstrings kind of leverage off of your calves. And this is most likely the same thing for a low bar squatter, but it seems to be more quad involved, very quad involved in fact, because my quads are always wrecked after doing low bar squats. This particular set, you can see I have some balance issues. Almost lost my balance there, and here focusing on just every angle that I can to pick apart my low bar squat. People like to joke about people who film themselves while lifting, but you would not notice stuff like your ankle shifting or your heel coming off the floor and then turning inwards while you were squatting and trying to hip depth if you didn't film all of these angles. And that's why there's still mediocre squatters. I'm trying to use every tool available to me to get better. So a lot of things to focus on, and basically just fine-tune with this movement, and I think this is probably going to be a more powerful position moving on. My pride is a little hurt because I would prefer to have all of my PRs come through with the high bar squat, but you know, the goal of a power lifter is to be as strong as possible in any way possible. And that was a little clip of me saving a Dave passer, since none of his homies spotted him. But anyways, another thing that I want to focus on too is on my bench, is making sure to keep my head down. I will be competing in my first meet, USAPL, in April 11th. And in USAPL, you can't lift your head off the bench. Moving along, we got some bent over dumbbell rows here. These are extremely boring to watch, so I won't let you sit through this any longer than you need to. And moving along to the next exercise is abs of choice. When my coach asked me about lifts for this new training program, he asked me what would you prefer to have. And my biggest thing here was to add in more ab work into the program. Ben Rice uploaded a really great video, basically talking about putting a barbell behind you while doing these, and this eliminates a swing, and now I can focus on the contraction of my abs rather than looking like a dog humping mid-air. So jumping right back into squatting, 5x2, a little higher weight, so a little bit more concentration required here. I was not happy with depth on any squat today, and I don't know if it had to do with mobility. I figured or felt that my warm-up was adequate. It just I just wasn't in the zone today. So you know, we all have bad days. This is actually the heaviest I've been with TSA. I was 221 on this day. I had to loosen my belt almost to the final hole in it. just to get through this. I also have been nursing an injury. I went to go see a chiropractor the previous weekend and had a rib put back in place, and the Inser belt is now digging into that tender pain area in the front of my rib cage, which originally it was in the back, and now it has shifted to the front. Since then, I've gone back to the chiropractor and received Graston in my rib cage, and it sucked. So moving along to deadlifts, this is a 395 on 5 sets of 2 yet again, and I'm not wearing a belt for these, mainly because I don't think I could take the pain of the belt, so I just have to be as strong as possible while getting the intended work in for today. I think the deadlifts actually went fairly well, all things considered. They look very speedy. I wasn't too happy with the yanking on the previous set, and I didn't film everything. Bench accessories, I got a nasty sticking point last time on the bench, so we're trying to fix that. We've added in Spoto presses, and if you're not familiar with them, you basically bring the bar down an inch above your chest, and then you pause for whatever duration you feel like pausing for. You don't have to count if you don't feel like it, and then you basically just press out of that. And this I feel would be really beneficial for me because I tend to be a bicep tricep bencher. Brandon Lilly mentioned that he is a tricep bencher. That's really weird considering the fact that you would think benching you would use your chesticles, but my chest really only comes into play, as you can see from my tight t-shirt and really hard nipples, at the top of the bench, and not necessarily the bottom of the bench. I have a slight arch, and I emulate more of a pushing into a receiver's chest motion, rather than having a flat back and pressing it with my chest and triceps.
That's why I don't turn my elbows
More of the same to film on this particular day, but due to the fact that I didn't have my camera with me, I just filmed a little bit of me doing my dumbbell shoulder presses with kettlebells instead. If you have them, use them. So previously I was mentioning in the video clip, or maybe I forgot to mention it, but I asked for pause deadlifts to be added back into the program. I felt they really helped my deadlift a lot. I also asked for safety bar squats. What I was not expecting was my coach to make them pause the safety bar squats. Last week I tried to do these in flats, and it was excruciatingly painful to sit in the hole. I felt that my erectors basically took on the brunt of getting out of the hole, so this week I spared no expense and I put on my SBD sleeves. I normally use Ray-Bans now, just because I feel that I get more quad work using a thinner material and not such of a compressive sleeve. But I was not taking any chances because I went into the pause deadlifts feeling like a bag of crap. So these I think went really well. Not really looking forward to the weight getting heavier, but I did find a more comfortable position to have this freaking bar in. Last time I had it in a high bar position to where that pad was on the back of my neck, and those stupid little shoulder pads were digging into my collarbones, and I felt like crap sleeping the whole week. So really glad that I kind of found a groove with this, because 300 did not feel as bad this week as it did last week. And I am not, I mean, if I had video of how horrible this looked last week, you would believe me. You might also notice that the SBD logos on my sleeves are turned inside, more towards my inner calf, and that's because if you see when I hit depth, you can see my knee through them. I've destroyed these, basically using them as shin protectors on my deadlifts, and no, I'm not going to be a cheap bastard and try to get Anderson Powerlifting to replace them, because I purposely destroyed them using them for deadlifts. Speaking of which, let's move on to the hellish movement that is pause deadlifts. So here we have 3 sets of 6, I believe, at 370 or 75 pounds. And if you notice, when I start the pull, I make sure to pull these into my shins every time. And after they sit in my shins for a few seconds, I pretty much take my hips and my glutes and I try to squeeze them as hard as possible, so when that bar gets into its lockout position, I am trying to meet the bar with my hips with such force that it will slap the bar out of my hand. That is basically how I've maintained a consistent and strong lockout while moving up in weight in my deadlifts. I notice that a lot of people that pull conventional either are really awesome off of the floor and have a really crappy lockout, or they're really horrible off the floor and have a great lockout, but that obviously would require different accessories. Either way, pause deadlifts definitely are a money maker for me. One, it's a great grip trainer. I don't use straps to deadlift. I feel it throws me off a lot. And yeah, man, I think they all went really well, and I can't wait to do more of them. And to finish this particular day off, we have underhand pull downs. I think this is supposed to be 12 to 15 reps at an 8 RPE, which is like cruising. Problem is that I only did 10 reps for 3 sets today at what is it, like 120 pounds? Sorry, I had to take a drink of water. I have like a piece of pepper wrecking me right now. So anyways, with these, I really want to focus on driving the movement with my elbows, squeezing my back at the bottom, and I really like pausing all of my movements now. I just feel that I have more control over my weights, and they transfer over to other lifts doing such.
So if you can hear me over the death metal that's going on, let me just gonna go over the rower sprints really quick. So I got this application here in the Mondo Pro, and I don't believe you need the Pro version to create interval training. So what I do is I pull on a polar heart rate meter. My goal is to hit 170 BPMs during my sprints. So I have interval training that I set up here, and you can create your own interval training by pressing the plus sign, and then you add time to it. So an example of that would be here's my TSA interval. So I'll do 5 minutes of basically just a warm up, and then here we got 15 seconds of sprinting as hard as possible. And then here, we got 45 seconds of rest. So when you see the description that says 15:45 on the rower sprints, that's basically what I do. And I do this for about 22 minutes. This will net me about 330 calories each time. And that's with the heart rate monitor on. If I want to hit a lower calorie rate, then I go in here and I remove a couple of intervals. So actually I'm going to do that because I don't want to hit 330, I just want to hit 300. So we'll go in, we'll minus that, we'll minus that, minus that, and we'll minus that. So 20 minutes even now. So we'll do a 5 minute, and then we'll do 15 on, 45 seconds off. And then out here, I think it's just a minute, 45-second cool down. So that's what you'll get anytime I see the rowers. I do this twice a week for a 300 calorie deficit. Hopefully you're able to see this. And this is how I record all of my videos through this Wi-Fi camera.
If you made it this far in, I appreciate you sticking around. So basically, my coach has added in power cleans, 10 sets of doubles at an 8 RPE, and Turkish get-ups to my my final accessory day. along with the cardio that I had just explained. With cleans, it's very tricky. I used to do CrossFit and some Olympic lifting before I got into powerlifting. So I am one of those people that am an early puller, that's what they would call it. But as you can see here, I have no problem hitting full extension and what they refer to as the triple extension to finish my clean. And instead of muscling the weight up to my shoulders, I'm actually pulling myself under the bar, and that's why I am coming out of position. Had I been using an actual Olympic grade bar that has a really good spin, that bar would meet me in my chest with ridiculous force rather than me pulling myself under the weight. But ideally, with a power clean or any kind of clean, that is what you want to do, is you want to pull yourself under the weight. So if you ever get a chance to practice with a legit bar for that particular movement, you'll understand what I'm talking about. I see a lot of people that pull too early as soon as it goes right above their knees, and I really try to talk to some people and tell them to get that final extension in before they pull. Snatching, not my department. I suck at it. Moving along is chest supported rows with a pause. Now, I did these on the first cycle of training I did with TSA, and I think they are friggin' awesome. I'm trying not to swear too much. These have really helped with my deadlift. My grip and my upper back, the upper body period in my deadlifts is not even a thing anymore. This movement has improved my grip exponentially, my upper back power, and has actually created a lot of size in my upper lumbar. So it looks like I'm rounding a lot when I deadlift, but it's just my back has really gotten pretty massive from doing those. Now the final movement, which my coach added in, which is kind of funny because I hate lunges. He had me doing Bulgarian split squats before. We got rid of those. He had me doing lunges. We got rid of those. I told him I wanted more ab work. So instead of doing abs of choice, what's he do? He gives me Turkish get-ups. So not only is this ab stabilization, shoulder stabilization, but as you can see, getting to the top, there's a damn lunge in here. So my coach Hanny is quite the trickster. The goal, however, with Turkish get-ups, and this is a very tricky movement, I see a lot of people getting this wrong. Also, a lot of the times is, they try to, wiggle through the movement. You cheat. So what I'm trying to demonstrate here is, you see how I always reset myself at the bottom is, and I messed up on that one. You don't want to lift your leg. The whole goal of a Turkish get-up is basically to do that without lifting your feet at the bottom or kind of like winging your way up. So as I come down, bringing that leg through, bend my elbow down, and now I'm smoothly making it down without lifting my foot. And that's what makes this movement harder, is when you focus on that. So I'm not as tight as most people are with a Turkish get-up, where they restrict their range of motion, but basically that is what I'm fighting for. So quality reps also at an 8 RPE. So this is only a 16 kg kettlebell. I can focus more on my technique rather than trying to be a meathead. Anyways, this video is 18 minutes long. I will probably split it into 2 parts. Thank you so much for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, and I promise you that future ones from here out will all be short if there's anything I care for you to see. Alright, peace out. Thank you. Click the like button if you enjoyed. And that's pretty much it, man. Thank you so much.